Empath Eyes, another great value for value track. We've been going now for about 15 minutes over on the Jupiter Station feed. If you're joining us on the commercial streams, welcome in. Coda Radio's coming up a little bit in real time. We're right in the middle of the weekly launch, and now we switch gears and we cover a tech company that's currently a media darling, and notice the contrast between the Tesla coverage and the Microsoft coverage.
This company's had 3 CEOs. They're all right here. This is all...
A decade ago, a little-known engineering executive named Satya Nadella was announced as the new CEO of Microsoft.
And I cannot be more honored, more humbled, and more excited about Microsoft and our future.
He was not an obvious choice. Nadella was an insider at a company that had become too insular, a humble and professorial presence.
Be able to integrate data which exists on a host or a mainframe.
After CEOs known for being mercenary.
You make a grown man cry.
And bombastic.
I can't hear you!
And yet, 10 years later, Microsoft is neck and neck with Apple for the title of world's most valuable company, with a market capitalization right around $3 trillion. Some perspective. That means Microsoft today is worth 10 times more than the day Nadella got the job. Along the way, Nadella's changed more than Microsoft's stock price. In 10 years, he's gone from an unknown quantity to one of the most respected CEOs in the game, balancing roles as engineering leader,
Hi, Aya.
and technology diplomat.
You see, there's a slightly different degree of coverage between the Tesla CEO and the Microsoft CEO. Microsoft is an AI darling right now. I see the live chat room filling up. Hello, Cheese Potatoes and T3 Elite. I like to see you in there. Please do bang suggest as the show goes along. Apple's been getting mixed coverage recently because their stock price hasn't been quite the performer. Now, when it performs, they get all the love. But as you know, it was the Apple Vision Pro launch week, and it's been nothing but hype and coverage. People are just putting the headset in their thumbnails on YouTube just to get the clicks. CNET went to the New York City launch, which is like that big glass store that has a big glass cube above ground, and then you go underground, because that was the store that old Uncle Tim Cook went to. So let's get a little taste of their coverage. I'm sure this might come up in the show, perhaps. It's probably good we have this.
I love New York, New York.
It's Vision Pro launch day here at New York City's flagship Apple store. There's a crowd gathered to pick up their pre-orders. The first person in line had a pre-order, but they still got here at 9:30 p.m. the night before. Folks here also don't have something to pick up. They just want to be part of this whole event and get a demo if they can. Let's go.
This new product launch is a big deal, so of course they are getting fans energized. Apple CEO Tim Cook greeted the first Apple Vision Pro customers at the Fifth Avenue Cube. There was lots of cheering and lots of selfies. There was even a customer who brought a shirt for laughs.
The shirt says, "Good morning," like he always does at the WWDC keynotes. So it's got a little outline of him, little Tim Cook, face on there, and it says, "Good morning, good morning."
Selfies. There was even a customer who brought a shirt for laughs. It was a good morning for fans on all coasts when stores opened at 8 a.m. to release the long-awaited headset.
I've been an Apple fangirl since, 20 years more, for a long time. I've gotten the first iPhone on the first day of introduction every year since they were first introduced.
Over in California, customers that visited the Palo Alto store near Apple's headquarters could meet some of the team that worked on the headset.
And I got it all autographed by all the amazing team that worked on it.
Hey man, for $4,500, you might as well, right? Oh wait, $3,500? I guess it depends on the storage you get. All right, so there you go. There's a little taste of it. I think you get the idea. I think I don't need to go much further than that. Very exciting. People waited in lines. It did have a pretty good little launch. And one more company that just gets all the love, and that's OpenAI. And a former board member, Will Hurd, has been going around talking to any media outlet. First it started with the papers, and now he's making his way to television, trying to scare everyone by comparing AI to nukes and saying and making the analogy that if we don't get controls over AI, we're going to have loose nukes. Loose nukes.
In a recent op-ed, former OpenAI board member Will Hurd recalls the first time he felt, quote, freaked out by a board briefing and realized the real power of artificial intelligence and the oversight it would need. He writes, quote, just like a company needs a permit to build a nuclear power plant or a parking lot, powerful AI models should need to obtain a permit too. Joining us right now is former U.S. Congressman Will Hurd. Good morning to you. A lot of folks have been talking about wanting to regulate tech for a long time, big tech, social media, and now AI. Virtually none of it's actually happened in practice. Some people say it's because we don't have the technical know-how to do it. Some people say it's too complicated. Some say the technology is moving too fast. What do you say?
I think I agree with all the above. However, it's something that we should do. I equate artificial intelligence, specifically artificial general intelligence, with nuclear fission. Right? Nuclear fission control gives you limitless clean energy. Uncontrolled nuclear fission gives you nuclear weapons. And I think that's an equivalent analogy when it comes to artificial intelligence. And we should learn from the past. We have a $10 trillion cybersecurity industry, one that I was involved in because we didn't have product liability applied to software. We've seen and we know what social media is doing, leading young teenage girls to increase self-harm. We shouldn't allow that. Part of the reason was because we carved it out, the Communications and Decency Act. Let's not do that with AI. And to me, I think the first...
I love this. Now, I don't know if you just caught that as you were connecting, Mr. Jar. The analogy there is that because we allowed Section 230 to protect social media companies from what their users post, that led to young girls cutting their wrists, and therefore we must regulate AI now. That was literally the logic chain he just used. This is their justification. We don't want a Section 230 AI.
Wait, Clark, I thought you wanted to protect me.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
Oh, I sure did. And I'm going to say, very antiquated of you, sir. I say
man,
sisters are doing it for themselves these days.
I'm an old school kind of guy. What can I say?
Yeah, well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should do a show, huh?
Yeah, we gotta.
I think that we gotta go. We gotta go. So that's it for the launch.
We got Bill O'Reilly. We're doing this shit live, and we're coming in hot. Let's go. I mean, all right, not as hot as Lois Lane. I mean,
it depends on the iteration.
Christopher Reeves.
Okay, all right. You know, have you ever watched the black and white one though? That's pretty great too.
Oh, she's fine. Ugh.
Okay, all right. Okay, chat room. We got to have you bang suggest. My God.
Or black and white Lois Lane.
Yeah. Terry, what's her face from Lois and Clark isn't bad either, depending on the vintage. Okay, I should stop now. All right, yeah. Bang suggest. Here we go. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're not in that chat room, coder.show/matrix. Here we go. And I'm going to record here. I got to write down the name. This is 556. Yes. Okay. Jump in at 4, would you, sir?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
All right. That's it. Chat room, it's all on you now. Here we go. This is Coder Radio, episode 556, recorded on February 6, 2024. Hello, friend, and welcome back to Jupiter Broadcasting's weekly talk show, taking a pragmatic look at the art and the business of software development, really the whole dang world, how it all fits together. My name is Chris, and joining us every single week, definitely not Jar Jar, it's our host, Mr. Michael Dominic. Hello, Mike.
Oh, Clark.
It's Lois. That's a deep ref.
It's a deep ref, and we're not going to explain it, so let's just keep going.
No, I feel out of it these days. I feel like I definitely am getting to be the old man who doesn't catch trends. One of the things that my kids have informed me is that Xbox owns most of their social life now. Like, this is how the younger kids are talking and chatting.
That's real. My son is lobbying me for the Xbox S in his room.
I'm preparing myself for what I'm going to say when I get lobbied for the Xbox. Yeah, it's big, man. Like all the kids that like ride his bus and go to school, they're all on the Xbox chat. They're all playing Xbox games. And I don't know if you saw this, but Microsoft just announced they have some kind of mid-February event And they say, quote, "We're listening to you. We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about the vision for the future of Xbox." When they say business event, do they mean like their business division is having an event, or do they mean like they're going to have a business event about the about the Xbox?
Well, I'm sure it involves Azure.
Yeah, maybe they're going to release their own virtual work headset. Don't know, but wouldn't it
HoloLens 3, baby?
I'm just trying to think like what would be the Xbox business play. I mean, it would.
Well, wow, this is a deep cut. They tried this once before, right? The Connect as your office. Remember, it was going to replace your Cisco system in your big enterprise conference room.
See, I'm thinking it's a Quest Pro competitor.
So a HoloLens.
Like 2.0 or 3.0, I guess it would be.
Right.
But maybe it's a VR thing, and they're not doing just straight up AR. Because HoloLens, remember, was always a pass-through.
Or it's like a game thing on different platforms, and
they just and they mean we're planning a business update event, as in
right. When they mean business, they actually mean like, Apple gets to do a release on their terms that are like, grab your ankles, it'll be fine. If you guys thought this one was going to be more chill, you were mistaken.
No, I'm coming in hot. Actually, literally, I got a hot face. I'll tell you why in a minute. But if you have any theories as to what a Microsoft business event for the Xbox is, or how the Xbox could be used in business, let me know. Let me send a boost in, or go to coder.show/contact, because I have a sense somebody out there listening is like, oh, guys, we're using the Xbox in our business right now for some crazy-ass thing, right? It's got to be a thing. So let us know, because I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this. And I know that if they're trying to branch out into some sort of, I don't know, meta workspace style competitor that is tied into Teams, maybe using like an Xbox S and a headset, it just seems so out of left field, though. It's going to be something AI, right? It's going to be.
Oh, of course.
Yes, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be something AI. But what? We don't know. But I do know we got a new sponsor, Trusty Book. They're here just for a little boot, and it's a great idea. So go to trustybook.com/coder. That's trusteebook.com/coder. And the idea is a downloadable offline workbook to make copies of all your important digital records. From like your social media accounts, but bank accounts, everything you might need in case you lost access to the account or you're traveling and you get locked out. And you get $10 off when you go to trustybook.com/coder. So I got immersed this week. I couldn't help it. I was watching all of these videos of people setting up their ideal work environments in their fancy Vision Pros. And right as I'm watching all of this, I see Mr. Smartass over there tweet out that you don't even see you don't see it. What am I missing? What are people getting excited about the Vision Pro? Nothing there as far as you're concerned, you tweet.
So I did tweet that out.
Yeah.
And then literally an hour ago, I got a call from my Apple rep.
Oh, yeah. What? Uh-oh.
No, not joking at all. I have an appointment in 2 weeks to go do a personal Vision Pro demo. Now, I'm not going to say suck it, Marco, because that would be wrong. So I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't say it.
Yeah, they still listen. They may have taken us off the front page of the technology section. But he's like, I think you should try it out. He's like, if you really think the 30... he's like, I was just, you're on my list. He's like, but all the points he hit were exactly the points I hit last week. It was kind of weird. He's like, your laptop was over $5,000.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Well, so I agree. I think you should take a look at it. I really think you should.
Well, for free, I got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I have not. I should, but I have not, because I'm worried that if I go down there, I'll buy it. And so I decided.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared too.
I thought perhaps the way to go would be to see if I could get good enough. I don't need the entire package. I just need part of what they're offering. I just want immersive.
Right, just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip of immersive working. Just a few screens. I don't need to have a whole bunch of other stuff. All the other things would be nice, but I don't have an iPhone 15, so I don't need spatial video and all these other features. I really just want to take a laptop and give it like 3 or 4 more screens. And so I thought, okay, is the Quest 3 good enough? It's got a pretty decent screen resolution. It's not the Vision Pro, but it does have a 120 hertz screen. You avoid the Apple ecosystem lock-in, and apparently it is particularly easy to sideload APKs. So I got one, and I installed Nextcloud, Tailscale, Firefox, Slack, Discord, etc., F-Droid, all on the Quest. And there's a larger library of games that are much more mature and developed than there is for the Vision Pro already. There's also a culture around sideloading because there's the SideQuest App Store, which is massive, very large, alternative store. It's easy to pair the thing with a keyboard and mouse, but really it's the price. For $500, you can get a Quest 3, which has better specs than the Quest Pro, for $500. And if you want to get the one that has good storage, 512 gigs, it's $650. Well, compare that to the $3,700 mid-tier Apple Pro, and you could literally buy like 5 Quests for the cost of one Vision Pro.
Oh, that Topgolf demo too.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, like you could equip a team for the cost of one Vision Pro. And if you just are looking for good enough for a couple of hours, and that's what I was wondering, if I don't want to live in this thing all day, if I just want it for like a 2-hour work session where I hit it hard for an hour or two, and I take a break. Is it good enough? So I was looking kind of at the mid-tier machines, comparing them. If I was going to get an Apple Vision Pro, I'd also want the mid-tier storage. And if you're going to get a lot of biz apps and whatnot, you're going to want the storage. And yes, the Quest 3 is lower resolution, but it is better than when I tried the Quest 2 the last time on the show. And I think I figured out where it fits. It is unfortunately not as many places I was hoping. I'm not wearing it right now as we do the show, which I was really hoping for. But the tech is just not there yet. At the end of the day, for both the Vision Pro and the Quest 3, the pass-through stuff is really good. The Vision Pro's better, but it's still cell phone cameras. And they're pretty good, but the one thing they're really going to struggle with is looking at screens. It's like in a dark room with a bright monitor and the camera has to switch between the two. They can do it. I can use my phone while I have the Quest 3 headset on, but it's not pleasant. You have to struggle. And the worse the room conditions are, the worse the cameras perform because, again, they're just cell phone cameras. And so I was hoping I could put it on and add existing screens, right? I didn't want to have to give up the screens I had. I wanted to add additional. But of course, that's not practical because of that lighting problem. I think it's more pronounced on the Quest 3. So if you're in a situation where you have one screen already and you just want to add more screens, it's great. If you're in a situation where you already have a bunch of screens, it's pointless. And you'll just prefer the multiple screen setup you already have because they're higher resolution and you're already familiar with that workflow. If you're somewhere like I was when I work from home, where I just have a laptop screen and on my ThinkPad, it's only a 14-inch screen, to be able to go to 3 100-inch screens is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And using the Immersed app, it's not native built-in. There is a built-in functionality to the Quest, but it only does one screen like the Vision Pro. But if you get the Immersed app, for free, you can bring in 3 screens, and if you buy their premium, which is a set what you want price, you can bring up to 4 screens in. And this is really powerful when you get to this point because you can additionally set portals. And these portals cut through your virtual environment, your workspace. And this is something the Vision Pro doesn't have right now, and it's a massive miss. So I can draw a box in the room, and I can punch a portal through so I can see my keyboard. I can also punch a portal through, and it looks like a window in a virtual environment, so I can see the wife and the TV. And I can see the entrance to the room. So I have a portal over the door. And I can see my mouse, and I can see where I have my phone, and all of that stuff, and I have the remote for the television. I have all of that inside this portal that is using the pass-through lenses and then fixing it in the correct space. And applications like Immersed can also detect popular types of keyboards and then lay down an AR keyboard over it so it's actually got perfect fidelity. It's really powerful. I mean, really powerful. And then I can invite you into this immersed environment, or if I just want to join a standard Zoom call or a Google Meet call, They give me a persistent virtual camera that floats in my 3D space, and I can move it anywhere in that 3D space, and that's what the person on the other end of the call sees, including the background of my virtual room, my digital avatar in there, which is very cartoonish, all of it. It's really adaptable and neat and powerful. And when you're in a busy environment and you go into that virtual mode, it really does help you focus. That's all very true. But you're not going to be doing it for more than an hour or two with the current technology.
Still only $500. I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah, where it really wins, Mike, is the fact that you can sideload Android apps. So, having Slack and Telegram and Discord. And when you're in just the Quest environment, so if you're not inside the immersed app, which I just described, but if you're just in like the Quest default launcher environment, the odd limitation there, and I hope Meta fixes this, is you can only run 3 windows at a time. You can have one wide window and 2 small phone-sized Android apps.
If I took my Quest 2, could we do a Quest episode, or no? I have to have
you can do it on the 2. A lot of that stuff all supports the 2. It's just
we
the
should
res.
Try it.
Yeah,
maybe for the Coder QA folks.
That'd be fun.
Sponsor.
Yeah, I could invite you into my virtual immersed workspace.
Yeah, or I can invite you into the hellhole that is mine. I'll give you a hint. Okay, should I break out the new voice?
Yeah. Oh, the one you've been practicing?
Inappropriate?
Yeah.
Mickey, what are you doing?
I didn't nail it that time. I didn't nail it that time. No, I went too high.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Donald Duck because apparently Donald is. We don't like Donald anymore.
That's rough. That was rough.
That was rough. You know how much time went into the Jar Jar voice? I literally looked in the mirror.
It's about 10 years, yeah.
Misa here for you. You just use the Jar Jar voice.
He's always there. He's always there.
And of course, oh boy, looks like Apple's going to make a shit ton of money this quarter.
I think if I could make a disclaimer, the Vision Pro beats the Quest 3 on running basically as many local apps as you want, native apps. You can put them all over the place in your physical space.
Well, it does have that sexy M2, right?
Yeah, whereas the Quest will let you run 3, and you can run them all side by side, and it's a quick device, but yeah.
So I am trying the demo. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing my wallet.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
That feels a lot like a lie.
Yeah, you got to bring the wallet. You're gonna get one.
He did seduce me with you could just sell your monitor and quote 100 feet of screen.
Well, that is true. It is way. You just can't beat the 3 in real estate. And one of the things they both headsets do really well is, and this is the killer feature, and you won't understand until you try it, but it is the killer feature. You can place apps in your space or windows, and they stay there. They stay pegged there. And man, I cannot describe to you how cool it is to have virtual screens in my office. And I get up and I walk around, and I'm walking around these virtual screens, and I leave the room and I come back and they're still there. And with the Vision Pro, because you can have even more apps running, you can literally just have rooms around your house where you've just left an app. So maybe this is the room where you want your calendar. And over here, you're going to have like other things, like maybe it's your cooking information in the kitchen. And you can just leave them persistently in there. And they just stay there. You walk back in the room and there they are again. And they feel like they're planted there, both on the Quest and on the Apple Vision, because they've nailed the AR, VR, LiDAR stuff. It's just so perfectly anchored in the real world that it gives it a reality.
Right. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be more productive with this, but I think it's, at least hooking up my old Oculus 2 and doing an Oculus show, a metaverse show would be interesting.
Yeah. I think I've been wondering, will I keep this, because it's been a few days, will I keep it in my workflow? Right. I don't know about here at the studio, to be honest with you. I got plenty of screens. I think it's maybe going to be my go-to. I need to do 15, 20 minutes of work at home. Like, it really did work the other day, because you and I were chatting over Slack while I was wearing it, and it really was awesome. I got home, and I just put the headset on and resumed the device, and all of my stuff was just right there, just like I hoped. It was so awesome for that. Right back where I was at. And so all I need is the kitchen table. I have a blank table at home with nothing on it but a laptop, and it gets turned into a giant space with 300-inch monitors.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous. But we should probably move on from this because
I could go on forever. But anyways, let me know what everybody else thinks. I know that we have a couple listeners out there that have gotten the Visual Vision Pro, so send us in your thoughts if you're regretting it already. And one last thought.
Go.
Apple has now created this huge market where you could make $1,000 headset, a $500 headset, a $1,500 headset, and it still seems cheap.
So I'm very curious. That's a good point. Is Meta going to come out? Oh my God, I called them Meta.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I'm so sad right now. Is Facebook going to come out with a 15? Because you know what? I realized like the guy was really selling me because he's a fucking genius. My Apple sales rep. How else do you buy a $5,000 MacBook Pro?
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but it's $3,500, man. And his argument was like, well, just come on.
Yeah, how much is 3 or 4 screens?
Oh, he's like, we'll get you a coffee. Starbucks is right across the way.
Visor.com. This is the Immersed folks. They're working on a $900 pair of sunglasses that'll be $400 with membership that are just meant for immersed working. They're not meant for gaming, and they look like sunglasses. They call them the smallest 4K headset.
Well, but like that's my point. If the Apple Vision Pro had some like awesome, like Assassin's Creed, where I don't want to hit this too hard, but murdering BSD users, it would be.
Yep.
If you guys don't remember the joke, Mac is BSD. So.
All right, so let's talk a little Rails. Enough with the headset stuff. I'll keep using it for a bit, and if there's anything to report, I'll come back and answer questions as well. But you had a pro tip for us this week.
I did, and this is something, I've been supporting a lot of legacy Rails apps and just doing a lot of new Rails code. But it's kind of unfair to call it Rails because it is a Rails feature, but it's also backed up by a lot of Ruby features. And I sometimes feel that the Ruby language developers kind of get outshined by the Rails team, right? Because Ruby's at this strange place where Python has a bunch of frameworks you might be using, but Ruby is like, okay, so you're basically using Rails. Maybe Sinatra if you're a hipster who likes martinis and cigars. I won't mention anybody by name. Drew. I just blame Drew now. No, but this is great. So active record load async. So it's exactly what it sounds like, right? Active record is the Rails ORM. These calls can do database operations, mostly loading, because it says load async, right? See? Right on the tin. It does it in the old way of C threading. If you don't know what that means, then I suggest you not use it. But it works. It does exactly what you want it to do. It puts let's say you have a long database operation with a couple joins that doesn't necessarily need to block the UI. You can use load async to make it run in the background. There's some magic in active record because it is Rails where it decides if it's going to be quick enough to just not listen to you and do it on the main thread. But also, if you want a long conversation about how Rails handles threading and processes, that is not something we're going to do today, but we should probably do it at some point. It's, this is an unpopular opinion these days. I actually think the simple C threading way of handling things is better. This is very similar to how Objective-C used to handle threads. And are you ready? Are you ready, Chris?
I'm like 115% ready.
Core dispatch, baby. An API released in
Yes.
Snow Leopard.
There it is. Finally, something's taking advantage of it.
Oh no, this is not taking advantage of it. It's basically the same idea. You know what?
I misunderstood. So you mean I shouldn't be excited?
Oh no, you should be excited.
They have it now, but they're not.
If it's Objective-C, but only in the way that Core Dispatch was basically a C API.
You put me on an emotional roller coaster, dude.
Do you know how sad I am every time I see a cat that's like white with black spots?
Yeah, I remember.
I collapse. It's like I'm like Frodo with the ring. No, but I have been again supporting legacy Rails apps, and I just got to use this for the first time, and I found this gentleman's blog. I cannot pronounce his name, but it's close to Paul, I think.
Pollard? Yeah, I couldn't either.
Yeah, if Google Translate serves me well. But he's pretty much nailed it. Yeah, and he gives you the downsides of using this and the upsides. This is one of those things that if you don't know that you should use it for sure, then you should not use it because you might be screwing yourself over. But you know what? Maybe I'm getting old, right? I'm just happy to see these older frameworks that, I make a lot of my living on Rails. Man, everything doesn't need to be written in the new hotness, right?
It is great to see something like this continue to be iterated on. Like, that's really when technology seems to be at its best, is when the new hotness comes along, but we keep working at the previous thing. Well, not to call it the previous thing, but we keep working on the established thing and make it better and better.
Well, and this is the kind of thing that like people used to write, like Ruby used to allow and still does manual threading. Like you could totally write this by hand, but just having it in the active record library for database management makes it so much easier. We really do have to do a show on it, Chris, but the new additions to the Ruby language, the optimizations, the need to drop down to like FFI and just drop to C++ or C is increasingly less and less. Also, if you're kind of a newbie Ruby developer or Rails developer, and you ever have like native thing fail to compile, the reason for that is the gems that you're importing are actually like C++ libraries or C libraries. So they're literally comporting with LLVM or, depending on your system, GCC. So, and if you're on Windows, who the hell knows what they're doing?
4 boosts to go.
We got some great boosts this week. 25,000 sats from the Gnome. Pew! And he says, I appreciate Mike's rant. As a person with a well-paying remote tech job who lives on a farm in rural Northeast Ohio, I can vouch for Mike's perspective. The suburban Fortune 500 office class doesn't understand how desperate the average person is in my community and how angry they are. In our bubble, we need to be careful because I promise you, censoring this person's grievances isn't going to make them change their mind or go away. I encourage people to go out of these communities and listen to someone else's point of view. That's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you paid attention to Weapon X, but you and I, and definitely me, got some flack, should we call it?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Gnome is right. Like, this is...
I had a really interesting conversation with a neighbor. She lives a few houses nearby, and she's been a professional worker for about 20 years. And she happens to work in a particular industry where she's been very lucky, and she's gotten a real, actual cost of living increase every year because she works in a pretty competitive industry. And so my wife and her best friend and this neighbor were all going for a walk, and the subject of sandwiches came up and how much it costs now to make one sandwich. And my wife pointed out that here in Washington State, to buy enough turkey to make a single turkey sandwich, it costs about $6 just for the turkey. And my wife's friend was, remarking about, it's about the same. I figure it's about $5-6 for them to eat. And the neighbor lady says, "Oh, gosh, has it gotten that expensive?" And they, "Oh yeah, you haven't noticed? You haven't noticed? No, I just don't pay attention." And and the neighbor started kind of thinking, she's like, I've been really fortunate. I've gotten a cost of living increase. I didn't even realize. I didn't really pay attention to it. Like, it just completely, to her, hadn't even been a problem. She lives in an entirely different world where these two ladies are talking about, like, the difficulty of cost of a single sandwich, and this other lady didn't even realize the prices had changed.
Oh no, we the Dominic family has realized it. We've changed our grocery buying habits. So one quirk of Florida, you would think gasoline would be cheap down here because of the Gulf.
Yeah.
It's actually very expensive. So, like, driving, if it doesn't make sense, I mean, we're not broke, but I'll put it, can I share real numbers? Is that too unfiltered?
No. Yeah, let's do it.
So the family grocery bill used to be $400 a month, roughly, right? Give or take a variance of 20%. And when I say groceries, I mean Walmart and Publix, right? And mostly Walmart. Now we're at about $600 to $700 a month.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we're talking, and we've cut we're
Yep.
a lot of chicken thighs. Instead of ribeyes are like a once a month treat. Now we're down, to the round eye steaks.
Man, we've gone all the way down to just we make a ton of stuff from scratch now, like everything.
No, these aren't prepped foods. We're cooking everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking even like the mayo, the bread. Like we're really just trying to save money as much as we can, and it's still we're spending a lot more.
We're not down to that level, but I mean, although I bet you're healthier.
Maybe it tastes better. The thing is we have extremely expensive gasoline here, so that adds to the cost of everything. But anyways, it is a thing.
Well, it's a thing. I mean, your neighbor's not wrong. It's the writer's not wrong. It's just, I just listened to something today with God damn it, I'm going to do it again with Jerome Powell, and he said straight up, these prices are not going down.
No, don't expect them to come down. The cost hopefully the increase will slow, hopefully. Unless something goes wrong, but hopefully they will. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So
okay, well, thank you very much for that perspective, the gnome, and I agree. It's not an easy thing to say when you're in a position of privilege like that, but you are humble enough to recognize what's going on around you. I think perhaps your location.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. D. Swartz comes in with a row of ducks. New listener here. Windows and Android forever. Also the Microsoft stack. Yeah, all right. I have to say I've been impressed by the Azure stack for voice recognition and their AI stuff. It has been really good. They've been doing good stuff over there. Corrosion comes in also with a row of ducks. I was the epitome of the Office meme where Michael Scott is yelling, "No, God, no," during that Microsoft Teams Neuralink discussion.
It's the reaction I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the phone notifications everywhere was bad enough in the future. I don't want them straight in my brain. I hear you. I can barely tolerate them on my wrist.
I turned all notifications on my watch off.
I think I'm going to do that too. Yeah.
Dude, do it. It will.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I check, because of course I have the heart condition. I check my heart rate every once in a while.
Good for that. That is true.
But I manually check it. You know what? Not getting
Yes, right. Not getting every notification.
Every text.
Well, and it just happened to me. No matter what I do, filter-wise, focus-wise, no matter what I do, my wife just texted me about something that I don't need to know about until 4:45 p.m. And it dinged my watch. It just dinged my watch, even though I have like layers of D&D. It still came through for some reason.
Yeah, but when it's the wife, they're like they're like the Marines of Do Not Disturb. They can get through no matter what.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Is I've done it for the wife and the kids, but I could just have it on the phone. I don't necessarily need it on the wrist. Unless there was what I would like is some really urgent breakthrough method where it could send a push notification to the wrist. Like they'd have the option on their end.
Yeah, but you see, if that exists, it's going to get abused.
Yeah, you'd only want to give it to the wife.
Well, see, I don't know.
Even then,
that already exists on the phone, though, right?
Yeah.
The call twice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and she knows I'm recording right now, so she must have thought it was important enough to send it. So she may have used the push through. Who knows, right? There may be a difference of opinions and expectations.
I assume Nadia is right and you're wrong, of course, because I don't fight with other people's wives.
Yeah.
But
we should probably stop. Well,
moving on.
Yeah. Scott, he sends in a Spaceballs boost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life.
Scott says, here's a boost, hoping you make it through the ad winter. Maybe you'll hit that 200,000 sat episode. Well, with great folks like you, Scott, we get close. Chris, I have to disagree with you on the Apple Vision Pro. You are the right market for it.
Damn.
If it was done a little bit better, but I just can't see using it as a daily driver. Eye strain feels like it would be more of an issue than ever, and I don't want to feel plugged into my tech.
Ooh.
But instead, I like using it as a tool. We'll see what the market says, though, and who knows, maybe one day use it as a headset. I will, however, be an old man yelling at the cloud and refuse to get Neuralink. Okay, all right. What? Here's how to think about the Vision Pro.
Who doesn't want to be a Cylon?
I mean, we're probably going to get it. Here's how to think about the Vision Pro in one single sentence. If you could do your work on an iPad, you could do it on the Vision Pro because it's like having lots of iPads everywhere. Big iPad screens everywhere, and you can bring one Mac screen in.
Can I run RubyMine and Sea Lion on it? Which is the demo I'm going to ask for in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Sorry, Craig.
We'll see. I mean, it really is. It's an iPad with floating windows. I mean, most of the apps you're going to use right now are going to be
why
iPad
not?
apps. I mean, why not? The iPad should do it too.
Well, no. He told me that I can mirror my Mac.
Yes.
So if I have, which I do, Sea Lion. These, by the way, these are all JetBrains IDs. They don't sponsor us, but
they should.
Comrades, you should. Privyet. They're from Belarus, not politics again. But I've been using their stuff for years. They're fine.
Oh, you'll be able to pull in your Mac screen like it's a monitor. That'll be no problem.
Like split it into multiple monitors?
Nope. But with Immersed, you will be able to.
That's crap.
So the Immersed app is going to be, or already is, on the Vision Pro, which is what I'm using on the Quest.
What I need for Alice is Sea Lion on one screen. This is how I do my Mac. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And RubyMine, because it like the interface for like just the basic logic is all Ruby. Yes, I
don't know who it is,
again.
but I saw a demo where you go into one of these work, your little work environment apps, and it boots up a cloud compute instance, a persistent cloud compute instance, and that is your remote compute inside the virtual environment is your cloud compute instance. Who knows, man? Who knows? I definitely don't want that. So I don't want that, but we'll see how much of this I actually do or do not want. Southern Fried Sassafras comes in with 5,000 sats.
Coming in hot with the boost.
He writes, the Vision Pro is ridiculously expensive, but the cooking use case, it's actually kind of brilliant. I would have never thought to try that out. The one where Joanna Stern shows in the Wall Street Journal video.
Yeah, I know, but water and trust me, water and Apple products. I've done enough field research on this one.
He does say he'd be worried about splashing something on it, but he says it makes me think about all the times I'm doing something where my hands are very dirty or wet, and I have to stop and watch and dry them before messing with my phone or tablet. With hand gestures, I wouldn't really have to do that. I don't know if it's worth $3,500 though. It's bad enough buying the Apple AirPod Max when it was on sale and refurbished. Anyways, thanks for my favorite weekly political and commentary show. I mean, weekly show talking about the art and business of software development. By the way, Farscape is better than Andromeda only because it had SG-1's Colonel Mitchell, before he was Colonel Mitchell.
You are mistaken. Kevin Sorbo continues to be
I agree.
glorious.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin Sorbo win. So where I could, because that AR stuff I mentioned, that overlay stuff really works and it really sticks in a way that is believable, man, I'd probably pay $100 if I was dumb enough to spend $3,500 on a Vision Pro. I'd probably spend another $100 if I had that for any one of my cars or my RV.
No, stop giving Apple ideas for more services revenue. What are you doing?
Dude,
you're out of control.
A mechanics overlay where I could understand the parts and know how they go together and twist in.
Don't stop it. They're going to do it.
I'd pay by the hour.
What are you doing?
Just want somebody to make it. I have car work to do, and I just need some help. That's what I'm saying.
Is Lady Jupes in trouble? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Well, no, there's maintenance but I need to do brakes, and there's just always something. And I just, the HoloLens promise of an overlay that kind of explains all the mechanics of what I'm working on, I still cling to that dream.
So, Balmer is listening right now, hitting the scotch so hard. He's like, yeah, I had this years ago, guys.
I know. That's true. The Same Cat sends in 3,000 sats saying hello from Noster. Well, hello, The Same Cat. Did you go to chrislast.com? MNFTS also sent in 3,333 sats and says, yo. And Wooden501 sent in 5,000 sats and writes, Hamilton Beach has been my favorite author since I read the Night's Dawn trilogy in high school. Definitely an author for people who want big, well-developed stories and don't mind reading a couple thousand pages to get it. All right. Thank you, sir. I actually would put a call out there for other great sci-fi books. I like the big, slow ones so I can fall asleep to them and then
Salvation Trilogy by Peter Hamilton.
All right. Yeah, something I can listen to 2 or 3 times while I fall asleep is great.
You'll need to. It's very long.
We also had a very funny video that was Futurama predicting the Apple Vision Pro called the iPhone EYE, sent in by Spatial Failure. Thank you, sir. We had 9 boosters in total. We stacked 58,222 sats. Definitely fell short of that 200,000 SAC goal. It's because I think, we just have a small pool of boosters. So we need some more people to go pick it up. This Podcasting 2.0 stuff is getting better and better. Apple just adopted the transcript tag from Podcasting 2.0. Frickin' Apple. Yeah. If Apple is starting to turn their app into a Podcasting 2.0 podcast app before you've tried a new podcast app, you're doing it wrong. Podcastapps.com. Fountain 1.0 Plus is so good. Integrates with Strike, makes it super easy to boost. There's so many good apps. Cast-O-Matic for iOS is just one of the best podcast apps out there. Podcastapps.com. Get one and boost in. Get your message on the show and help support us during the ad winter. Of course, you can also go to Trust eBook. We'll have a link in the show notes, or you can become a member. We have a link for that, too, at coder.show/membership, or there's a link up there. You can support us directly, and you get the Coder QA Mike was mentioning, the Coderly, which we got to sit down and do. Maybe we'll do it in the metaverse. Well, Mr. Dominic, I think that's it. We're doing a little quickie because you have to go out there and fight in the business world and conquer. So where should people go to see more of you, support more of you, get more of you, etc.?
Go to alice.dev, and if you need stuff, I have a new email that I will say verbally.
Oh.
Because last time I wrote it down in the notes, that was a bad idea.
Really?
Mike at alicebot.co. .co is in company. You should reach out to that email, because if you do, and you mention either Jar Jar Coder or hating BSD, 10% deal.
Nice. All right. Hate BSD and get 10% off. We have ALR in our live chat room right now who is watching the show live on his Apple Vision Pro, and he mentions the notifications are particularly annoying because they show up at the top center of view. So
that's horrible.
You're going to have to be in watching mode.
That's like Chinese torture.
You're right. The notifications are going to, you'd always be, wouldn't you just always go into Do Not Disturb? Wouldn't you have
I just
to?
want no notifications.
Yeah. But I do like that we got somebody watching from our PeerTube on the Apple Vision Pro. It's pretty cool. All right, that wraps it up. If you'd like to catch the show live, we publish the time at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar, or you can subscribe to the Jupiter Station feed where I post it in there ahead of time. You can find that in a Podcasting 2.0 app. That's Jupiter Station. Links to what we talked about today are at coder.show/556. Over on their website, you'll get our contact form and our RSS feed as well, so you can use any dang app you want. And if you feel like it, join us on one of those live times and get in that chat room. Give us your live feedback and all that. Last but not least, we always thank you if you could share the show. Word of mouth is just one of the best ways to advertise a podcast. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week. Thank you, Drew. There we go. So now we got to title this thing, y'all. Get on over there and title it, would you?
Ooh, real quick.
What you gonna do when they title for you? Show and boom! Begin your voting process, y'all. It is all up to you now. Nobody else will be able to vote. Let's see, we have Apple gets all the love. I put in facial computing instead of spatial computing.
I actually like that a lot.
All right.
I just voted for it.
Okay, I'm going to vote for it too, even though it's mine. Apple Vision versus the Quest is pretty good too. But I don't know, I think facial computing is kind of funny.
I think facial computing is pretty good.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, Mr. Dominic.
Homie, I need to do Tuesday next week.
Okay, Tuesday again. That'll work for me. Tuesday's usually pretty open.
Yeah,
So-
I think Mondays are going to be rough.
Okay.
I'll DM you, but
yeah,
I'm sure you could figure it out. So, yo.
All right, Tuesday
All right.
will be.
All right, alicebot.co or alicebot.dev, but Mike at alicebot.co if you guys. It's a secret email for Coder Radio fans, 10% off.
Mm-hmm. Very well.
All righty.
All right, Mr.
Bye,
Dominic.
chat room.
Have a good week.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody who made it. I enjoyed having you here. It always, it adds a little extra energy knowing you're there, especially which is nice in the morning. Like, I didn't sleep very well last night. So what I do is just get hyped up by you. It's a nice little virtuous circle. Hopefully it makes for a better show, too. I don't know. I hope so. Well, thank you very much for making it. The next live show will be Linux Unplugged on Sunday. We got a banger. Going to roll out a new segment. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you on Sunday.
Look out now, boys. Are you ready to do the rigmarole? Yeah, man. Well, go on where I told you. Do like I told you. Because everything is home cooked. Look out now. Here we go. Watch it. One, two, three, four.